Tell me about the story of Junk Fairy. I love the branding. I love the name. What made you say, "Hey, I'm gonna go out and have my own business here"?
Yeah, I gotta give that up to my brother. He was working for the government, and I was working at a law firm as a paralegal, and so he just kind of decided to do something to start business for himself, and he settled on junk removal.
What's like kind of the biggest struggle that you say that you've had in the course of building the business and coming into the business with your brother?
Brand visibility. Looking back on it, I would say that's been our biggest struggle. A lot of home service businesses are really competitive. I would say all of them probably, but junk removal, I don't know how it is across the United States, but in San Diego, it's really competitive.
Who came up with Junk Fairy? Where did that show up? Has it always been Junk Fairy? Like, what's the story? Because you are pinked out, you got like branding on point. What's the thought and story behind all that?
I got to give that up to my brother. It was his idea in the beginning. I remember being on a group chat, not being involved in the company at all, just friends and family. He kind of sent out a text and was like, "Hey, I have this idea. I want to start a junk removal company. What do you guys think of these names?" And now I don't even remember what the other names were because Junk Fairy is so pervasive throughout our life. But that was the one that everyone kind of chuckled at and thought it was good.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Superpro podcast. I'm Roland Ligtenberg. I'm the co-founder of Housecall Pro. And since 2013, we've been on a mission to champion the trades and champion our pros because the work you all do keep our homes safe, comfortable, and communities running. And in AJ's case, clean too, because we're moving junk, we're making it disappear. Through Housecall Pro, I've had the privilege of supporting hundreds of thousands of pros like you, empowering you all to achieve more, stress less, and redefine success in the industry. I'm really excited because today we have AJ Dehseraei, the owner and founder of Junk Fairy, a junk removal business based out of San Diego. They're on track for $200K this year in revenue. It's got 2 employees, 1 big truck on the road. AJ, welcome to the show.
Hey, Roland, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. And we've been big fans of Housecall Pro for a while, so it's great to be here doing this with you.
No, excited to get you on. Tell me about the story of Junk Fairy. I love the branding. I love the name. What made you say, "Hey, I'm gonna go out and have my own business here"?
Yeah, I gotta give that up to my brother. He was working for the government, and I was working at a law firm as a paralegal, and so he just kind of decided to do something to start business for himself, and he settled on junk removal. So it was his baby in the beginning. He kind of started everything off, and I would help him out every now and again on the weekends and that sort of thing. I was working full time, and he was working pretty much full time as well. And so it kind of grew from there, and it was always kind of just like a little side hustle, and we didn't really know where it would go. But we've been kind of growing since then in various stages. But yeah, we're here now, almost 11 years later. We're both doing it full time.
That's crazy. What was it like, when you were not using Housecall Pro? What were you kind of looking to solve, or what was happening where you're like, okay, we need to implement this? Because you've been using Housecall Pro now for quite some time. But what was that? I don't know, time in your mind? What was the problem you were looking to solve? What happened?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, it was honestly just like paper and pencil. There wasn't really any tech involved. Because the job count was so low. My brother was just getting maybe a job or 2 on the weekend, so he didn't really have a lot to keep track of at that time. And then it evolved to, I think when I came on board, I was like, hey, I think we should use something to organize all of our jobs. And so we started just using Google Calendar in the beginning, just to, have our calendar in order and know where we're going and what we're doing out into the future. Cause we started booking jobs, a few weeks out, that sort of thing. And then, I knew there had to be something better. So I just started researching what sort of platforms were out there. And one thing, Housecall Pro stood out to us, but I was really stoked that it was a San Diego company too. So seeing how, people were meeting up at Ballast Point and that sort of thing in the beginning, that was all cool. So I just thought that was interesting to be able to work with the local company.
That's cool. Yeah, we used to do local meetups. I remember going to Ballast Point. Those are good times, all pre-COVID. We just kind of do whatever we want to do. And now we're a little more remote. oh, you've got really great branding. Who came up with Junk Fairy? Where did that show up? Has it always been Junk Fairy? Like, what's the story? Because you are pinked out. You got like branding on point. What's the thought and story behind all that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that again, I got to give that up to my brother. It was his idea in the beginning. I remember being on a group chat, not being involved in the company at all, just friends and family. He kind of sent out a text and was like, "Hey, I have this idea. I want to start a junk removal company. What do you guys think of these names?" And now I don't even remember what the other names were because Junk Fairy is so pervasive throughout our life. But that was the one that everyone kind of kind of chuckled at and thought it was good. So he ran with it. And, it was all his idea to kind of make things pink and like memorable and,
Yeah.
making it like more friendly and just something that people would remember. And at least, he's kind of goofy. So just to have fun with it, I think that was his intent from the beginning, but ended up being a good seed.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, clearly starting a business and doing all that, going on your own, that's hard. What's like kind of the biggest struggle that you say that you've had in the course of, building the business and, coming into the business with your brother? Like what was hard?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that brand visibility, looking back on it, I would say that's been our biggest struggle. A lot of home service businesses are really competitive. I would say all of them probably, but junk removal. I don't know how it is across the United States, but in San Diego, it's really competitive.
Hmm.
And so just having that visibility and people being able to see what you do and who you are and why they should do business with you, I think that has been, and I guess less so continues to be our struggle is just getting the marketing and I think obviously our branding is good, but just being able to get in front of more people is always that's always been the hurdle, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys have impeccable reviews, like over 100 5-star reviews, perfect 5 stars. You guys are clearly doing something right when it comes to, doing good work for the customers. And I know that a big
Yeah.
part too is recurring business. At a certain point, definitely junk haul. Sure, there's people that move and you never see and hear from them again. But oftentimes people just accumulate junk and they're like, all right, now I need it gone. Now I need it gone. Now I need it
Yeah.
gone. What are you doing to stay in front of those types of customers? Is there any special like secret sauce or something out there you'd share with people that are looking to just get into the kind of the junk removal business?
Yeah, I would say, just from a visibility standpoint, you should have a brand that's at least memorable, that people will remember because that's just going to make them think of you when the time comes when they need to get rid of something. I
Hmm.
think that's true probably of all service businesses. You want a brand that's like memorable and that people can identify with in some way. Something about it clicks for them so that they'll remember it when the time comes. And and then beyond that, like, yeah, you have to have good customer service and you have to execute on what it is you deliver. So if you don't do that, then you may get one job one time from somebody, but getting the referrals and the repeat business, you have to. That's on your shoulders to execute.
Yeah. And where are you finding the most of your business? Walk through kind of like your lead sources. Is it
Sure.
mostly new? Is it repeat? Is it like a mix? Are you spending paid or is it all word of mouth? Google? Like walk me through that.
Yeah, we've tried a lot of different things. We found that the Google AdWords space is really competitive and expensive.
Hmm.
We've dabbled in stuff like that, different online platforms for digital marketing, but we've had our biggest success just being out in the community. People see us driving around. Again, that goes back to the branding and the visibility. But we typically are just as visible as we can be out there. This year, what's been really successful for us is getting out in the community and doing different projects. Not only is it rewarding for us, it's fun, and it also just gets us in front of people. So we've been doing all sorts of different things with different organizations that are local and do good things for the community. And I think that's been, you know, measurably our biggest, our best return on investment. And all it's taken is our time, really. I mean,
Yeah.
the spend is pretty minimal. So
Yeah. And I think for a lot of businesses that are struggling to kind of figure out how to do something like that, one of the benefits there too is anytime you give away services too, you can write all that off. Those are
Sure.
marketing expenses. And
Yeah.
so, you're taking a loss on time and money, but you kind of get to take that up back against your top line where you don't have to pay taxes on that piece.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You document everything, make it all audit proof. But yeah, that's a great way to just get out there and also just be known in the community.
Yeah.
How do you get started with something like that? How would you tell someone that is like, hey, yeah, who do I do free work for? How do I find someone to get free work? Like, how do you even get started with something like that? What's tactical?
Yeah. I would say, being active on social media and see what sorts of things resonate with you. What kind of events are happening, what organizations are doing good work in the community. And if you see something like we're sponsoring or kind of co-sponsoring a beach cleanup coming up at the Del Mar Dog Beach. And we're doing that in conjunction with the North San Diego Business Chamber. So we just became members of the Business Chamber this year. We're on the Sustainability Council, the Environmental Sustainability Council. And so to that end, we've sort of, we've always wanted to do community cleanups and beach cleanups, but through the connections in the chamber and on the Sustainability Council, we're working with I Love a Clean San Diego, and they sponsor beach cleanups and community cleanups. So we have it, we're kind of organizing it. We're putting it out to the whole chamber to see, who will come participate. But I would say just keeping an eye out for who's active out there and what sorts of causes resonate with you. Some people, have someone in their family that has autism, for example. You could go down that route and see who's doing work in that community. But sort of connecting with the communities you're already a part of, I would say, is a good place to start.
That's a really good golden nugget. Yeah, you're already probably, if you have kids, if you have other family, like someone's connected to some sort of organization that's out there, and it's a really easy way to say like, hey, is there any way I can donate some of my business's time to kind of help out here? And then seeing how your business makes sense and whatever it happens to be. That's a really good tip for the people listening. What about when you think about the future of Junk Ferry? Where would you like to see it in 5 years, and what's sort of like your plan? What's your master plan to kind of get there?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've sort of had to pivot post COVID and recover a little bit from the way things used to be, but our plan is to grow our team. We're hoping to hire some of our first employees starting early 2026. So look out for that. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, we'll be growing to more vehicles and kind of breaking up San Diego into multiple territories and kind of tackling it that way. So we're not covering the whole county with one crew.
San Diego, I mean, you can be on the road for quite some time. And so it's not going to make sense for small jobs unless you're, racking in huge jobs. You'll go all the way over to El Cajon from the coast and get stuck in all the traffic. Yeah, I think, for a lot of people that are listening, every city is different, clearly. But cutting down traffic time, making sure the territories are right so people aren't just driving around all over the place, especially when you're doing a phone call where it's like you go somewhere and you got to go drop it off, and then you got to go somewhere and you go drop it off. It's a lot of driving time. What are some good resources and things you listen to or read? How do you stay connected with the industry, or kind of like what's happening? What are you consuming? Any favorite TikTokers? I don't know what you're doing these days.
Yeah, sure. I've been watching some stuff on YouTube. I'm not really on TikTok too much. We're on there, like, we have some shorts. Shout out to our friend Dante, but he made some videos for us, some shorts for YouTube and TikTok and social media. So we're posting that stuff, but I think we could be more active as far as that goes. Personally, I consume a lot of stuff on YouTube. Recently, I've been following Alex Hormozy.
Oh yeah.
And sort of, his style of like how to scale companies. And so hoping to glean some knowledge from that and use that in our 5-year plan to sort of build Junk Ferry out a little further. And so, we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to put some of his advice and knowledge to use.
Yeah, he's got some great books out there. He now has his models book. So now he's got 3 books you can own out there, unless you bought his $6,000, like 200 whatever thing. But hey, look, he gives out a lot of great value. One of the most recent the things that he put out there that I remember screenshotting it. But I was like, oh yeah, this is neat because I get asked this all the time.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull this up while we're talking. But essentially, what it is depending on your close rate, when you're giving estimates, you can kind of determine if you're charging too much or too little. One thing that I always thought was like, oh, okay, you want to kind of charge 50%, or you want to have an estimate close rate of about 50%. But if you're closing half of your jobs, you're still undercharging. And so in this little cool screenshot thing, gosh, I can't find it for the life of me. But it showed, if you're charging like 30 to 40 or converting 30 to 40% of your estimates, you're probably like in the right price range. But if you're closing 100% of the estimates, you're clearly underpricing. Because I see this online. People are like, oh yeah, my guys have like an 80% close rate. And it's like, well, they could either be really good or your service could just be really cheap compared to everyone else that's out there. And you're probably struggling to make some money, but he's got some really neat stuff out there he puts. And I definitely, like AJ said, go follow him, watch some of his stuff. It's cool.
Yeah. That's one of the things that you have to, it seems like you're doing something right when you have a high close rate like that, but you may want to examine why that is. That could be, you're leaving money on the table. So yeah, you're right.
That's right. And I mean, look, you guys do good advertising too, where it's like starting at some dollar amount. So people can kind of be like, okay, this is like the minimum, but at least now you're not going to get, the Craigslist tire kickers that are just willing to haul stuff around for free and whatever. So you kind of set that bar minimum, but also it makes it more approachable for people that are like, oh, $1,000 to haul away my stuff. Wait, what? They can't piece things together. But you can build that rapport once you have that conversation met with them. Speaking of knowing your numbers, you guys have been a long time Housecall Pro users, almost 7 years now. What's like a feature you guys have now that you guys wish you would have started using earlier, and why? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh man, I have two. For sure, the online booking. I wish we had done that sooner. It's just gotten better and better too, because I remember in the beginning, I don't know, it was probably something about the way we were using it, but now that it integrates with our Google business page, people just go on there and they see our reviews, and they can just book directly on like the Google map with the map pack on Google. So that's been really good. Online booking has saved us a ton of time with the customers inputting all their own information and picking the time, and the flexibility that allows us to not just book the job, but like we book it as an estimate. I know every industry is different, but for us, it's better for it not to be finalized just because of location and like job size. And so we make every effort to meet the customer's, ask for the time and date, but sometimes because of the geographic location or the size of the job, we have to finalize the job with them and not, it books as an estimate. So that feature is really helpful for us. 8 or 9 times out of 10, it's the customer books it just right. But sometimes we have to reach out to them and sort of solidify those details and finalize it. So
a lot of people are afraid by that. Like, how do you, what would you tell them? Because a lot of people are like, I'm never going to do it because, the one time or the 2 time you're going to get pissed off customer, I'm not going to do it. So how did you overcome that? What do you tell them? Like, how do you guys do it?
Yeah. Sometimes there is confusion. Usually it's people not reading carefully, but we have a little disclaimer that says this is just an estimate. Mm-hmm. We will finalize the details with you, and we'll make every effort to meet your needs, etc. But we haven't had anyone really pissed off. I didn't anticipate that happening anyway. There could be some confusion. It's worked out a couple of, like maybe once or twice in the few months to a year that we've been using it, that there was some sort of conflict and we weren't able to service that customer, but that would have happened anyway, right? Mm-hmm. They're up against a deadline. Usually it's something like that where they're hoping that they can get it done like right away, and it doesn't always work out like that in the service industry, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say try it in the way that makes the most sense for you, and then just sort of work the kinks out later.
Yeah. I always tell people, like, it's not about the perfect tech, the perfect price, the perfect location, the perfect, just throw that all out the window. All that happened is they booked. Now you've got someone that's not shopping around anymore.
Right.
And now go make it right. and go figure out like all the things. Look, if it happens to be the right price of our location, great. If you got to send a different tech out, that's cool too. But I think a lot of people just in this day and age, you got to like stop the scroll. You got to get them to stop calling other people, because otherwise you're just going to lose that job anyways. So think of it as like, having an extra fishing line out there that is probably catching a lot more of like the millennials, maybe some of the younger generations that don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to book something online and be done with it.
Yeah. And we've even had repeat customers that are good customers of ours that they will call us, email us, text, all of the above, because they want to work with us. Right. So it's not like someone that we're in danger of losing, but they even love the online booking. It's just really convenient for them. They don't have to waste time trying to communicate back and forth with us. They're like, can you come this day and this time? And most of the time we can. So we've gotten feedback from our repeat customers. They're like, it's so easy to use. We love it. It just streamlines the whole process. So we're going to continue using it.
Yeah. Especially remember too, a lot of times homeowners, they're going to be looking around at 11 PM, when they put their kids to bed. And, if, they're calling around, they're not going to get you. So like, let them book you, because otherwise it's like race to get back to the voicemails as soon as you get in the office, to try to catch as many of the people that left like after hours calls. Cause look, maybe you turn your phones off at 5 o'clock, but don't lose those jobs. Come on, man. Like get them with online booking. That's cool. What's your other feature? What's the other thing that you're like, come on guys, like use this from the beginning. I wish we should have done it.
Accounting. I got to shout out the accounting team. They're great. They're trying to get me on the phone to clear up some stuff, and it's my fault I haven't got back to them. So, stick with them. But I wish I would have done it a long time ago. It's just a huge burden off of my shoulders. As I don't know how everyone else is operating out there, but we're a pretty small team, just me and my brother. So I wear a lot of hats, and so having that team just handling all the accounting has been huge.
What were you doing before? What were you doing beforehand? Were you doing it all yourself?
I was doing it all myself. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a lot.
We have financial advisors that do our taxes and advise us in that regard. But the raw data, I was handling it all myself.
Wow.
And not very well, I might add.
I think when you're first off, when you're a smaller business, you must wear a lot of hats. And then you either have the option of, do you hire someone or do you outsource or use like Housecall Pro accounting? Either way, try to get it off of your plate, because AJ is clever enough to say like, I'm not doing it very good. Like if you're not really good at it, you don't like it, get it off your plate. Go focus your energy on stuff which you like love to do. If it's branding, if it's building relationships, if it's doing the work, whatever it is. But replace yourself. That's something we didn't have back when you started Housecall Pro. That's a pretty neat offering that we have that integrates. It's built directly inside your Housecall Pro account, so it keeps it super nice, super tidy, without having to use any other software, which is nice too.
Super convenient, great. It's an excellent value. I've told other members of the chamber about it that are in various businesses, and they're like, "Wow, that's great. I pay way more for that." Outside, whatever they don't do home services maybe, so they're like outsourcing to some other company, but they're like, that's a great value.
Totally. Yeah.
I would encourage people to try it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What we can talk a long time about this, but what's something you would tell your younger self, sort of as like, hey AJ, 10 years ago, before you even got into business here? No, you got into business 11 years ago. Okay, 12 years ago, AJ. What would you tell 12 years ago, AJ?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure you probably know Brandon Vaughn, right? So I'm going to shout out Brandon Vaughn. He kind of opened my eyes to marketing, being like how to set up your marketing for the revenue you want to make. And so my brother and I both were always like, in the very beginning, we're like, we got to save every dollar we can and not waste money on stuff. And now I would have told myself back then, I would have said to focus a lot more on marketing, just to set the stage for the amount of business that you can handle, not the other way around. Like I think some people are like, how much can I afford to spend based on the revenue that I'm making right now? And that's like backwards. And that's something that he opened my eyes to. And it's like, no, you need to spend 5 to 10% of the revenue that you want to make. Right. And obviously spend it in the right places, measure everything and figure out what's working. But yeah,
it makes
that's something.
It makes a lot of sense. That's really good, solid advice. And I think especially telling yourself that before you go into the business, I think when you start your business, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to spend anything. I don't want to spend anything. And then you're like, well, it's so hard. I can't find good people, or, like I can't get business. It's like, well, spend and think about it, but make sure it's measured. Like AJ said, that's the golden nugget, actually. Make sure it's measured, but spend ahead of the curve of where you want to be. Because if you're spending 5 to 10%, you want to be $1 million business, you're 50 to 100K. Where are you going to spend that money? What are you going to do if that's your goal? Blow it all out in like one shot. But think about it. But that's what you should be spending if that's your goal, especially if you want fast growth. Any parting words? Anything else you want to kind of tell the audience? Any people think about becoming a super pro? Why are you super pro?
If I had to put it in like kind of a single, encapsulate it all, I would say you need to be consistent. And that's another thing that Alex Hormozy talks about a lot too. I don't shout him out too much. He has enough publicity, but on like he talks about it, and that's just solidified it for me. I didn't discover it through him, but it kind of confirms what I already knew. And it's like you have to execute on a consistent basis. Whatever you're doing for your business and definitely for your clients, they want you to be consistent and reliable. So those two things, they're one and the same: consistency, reliability. You have to do that over and over and over and over again, and that's the only way to achieve success. So there's no magic bullet. There's no shortcut. It's just being consistent.
I love that as like the final parting words of wisdom, because I truly do believe that. We're in an episode, I don't know what number this is going to be, but someone said, oh, you can't get to 100. So here we are in our path, but got to be consistent. Great content. You keep at it. Appreciate the grind. AJ, thank you so much for coming on the show. A lot of great golden nuggets. Love San Diego businesses. If you need junk haul removing and you happen to be in San Diego, go check out Junk Fairy. Look at all those reviews. 124 5-star reviews. Perfect score. Yeah, no joke. There it is. Look at the branding. It's there. If you happen to be listening, you like what AJ said and was like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need Housecall Pro. You can always go to housecallpro.com/podcast deals. If you don't want to sign up on something on the website, you can always text me personally. My phone number is 858-215-1512. Text me what your problem is, and I'll get you connected to someone inside of the company. And we do these episodes every single week. So we have cool guests just like AJ. So I don't know who we're interviewing next week, but I promise you it'll be a good one. So stay tuned. Thank you all. Thank you, AJ. Appreciate you guys.
Hey guys. Thanks, Roland. See ya.
Yeah.
The Superpro podcast is brought to you by Housecall Pro, the leading platform for the home service industry. Housecall Pro streamlines your workflows and simplifies everything from scheduling and dispatching to communication and billing. Unlock the full potential of your home service business with Housecall Pro. Work smarter and more efficiently with streamlined workflows and detailed analytics. Win more business and serve your customers well, every single time. Join more than 40,000 home service pros who have already revolutionized their businesses. Work smarter with streamlined workflows, get organized with centralized information, and scale your business your way. Learn more at housecallpro.com.